The aroma of freshly brewed coffee hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the simmering tension brewing at table 5. Brenda, a woman whose meticulously styled blonde hair seemed to vibrate with barely contained fury, was locked in a silent standoff with a young barista, a nervous-looking individual named Leo. Brenda, you see, had ordered a decaf latte, specifically requested extra foam, and received, well, something less than perfect. The foam was slightly less than extra, a culinary crime in her eyes, warranting the full force of her righteous indignation. This wasn't just about a latte, it was a principle. A principle of service, of excellence, of getting exactly what one demanded. The quiet murmurs of other patrons were almost drowned out by the tempest brewing within Brenda's perfectly coiffed head. Leo, meanwhile, could only offer a slightly apologetic smile and a trembling offer to remake the drink. Brenda's face, normally a mask of perfectly applied makeup, was now a landscape of simmering fury. Her perfectly arched eyebrows were drawn together in a formidable frown, her lips pressed into a thin, disapproving line. Leo's offer to remake the drink seemed to only inflame her further. The audacity to suggest that a remake could possibly rectify this egregious error. It wasn't about the coffee anymore, it was about the principle of the thing. She had paid good money for this latte, and she deserved perfection. This wasn't just a latte, this was an affront, an insult, a complete and utter disregard for her refined sensibilities. Brenda's voice, usually a carefully modulated soprano, had risen to a near shriek. She launched into a tirade, a full-blown Karen-esque explosion of entitlement and misplaced fury, her words laced with thinly veiled threats. The coffee shop, which had moments before hummed with the pleasant chatter of morning patrons, had fallen eerily silent, all eyes fixed on the unfolding drama. Poor Leo, trapped in the crosshairs of Brenda's wrath, could only stammer apologies, his face flushed with embarrassment and fear. The situation was spiraling out of control, a perfect storm of caffeine withdrawal and simmering resentment. The climax arrived swiftly and unexpectedly. In a fit of rage, fueled by a potent cocktail of caffeine deprivation and unwavering self-importance, Brenda lashed out. A swift, sharp slap landed squarely on Leo's cheek. The silence that followed was absolute, broken only by the soft gasp of horrified witnesses. The slap, however, was far more significant than a simple act of violence. It was the spark that ignited a wildfire of consequences, the beginning of a very unfortunate chain of events for Brenda. Leo, surprised but unbowed, stood his ground. There was no screaming, no tears, only a cold, quiet dignity. His eyes, previously filled with fear, now held a steely resolve. He'd face worse in his life. He subtly wiped his cheek, not giving Brenda the satisfaction of seeing him visibly shaken. He quietly contacted his manager, who in turn swiftly called the authorities. Brenda, still caught in the throes of her self-righteous rage, remained completely unaware of the approaching storm. The arrival of the police officers was swift and decisive. Brenda's tirade abruptly ended, replaced by a stunned silence as the gravity of her actions sunk in. The officers, seasoned veterans of such encounters, listened patiently to Brenda's increasingly incoherent justifications, but their patience had limits, and the initial shock at witnessing such blatant aggression gave way to the cold reality of the law. The walk out of the coffee shop was anything but graceful. Brenda, her perfectly coiffed hair slightly askew, her makeup smudged, was escorted out by the police officers. The humiliation was palpable. She could feel the burning stares of the onlookers, the silent judgment echoing in the air. The world, once perfectly aligned with her expectations, now seemed tilted on its axis, and Brenda's carefully constructed reality was crumbling around her. The incident, unsurprisingly, went viral. Local news channels picked up the story, and soon Brenda's ill-fated coffee shop altercation was trending nationwide. Her face, though blurred for privacy reasons, became a meme. A cautionary tale of entitled rage and its spectacularly unfortunate consequences. The internet, ever quick to pass judgment, had a field day, creating countless memes and jokes at her expense. The repercussions went beyond the digital realm. Brenda faced charges of assault, a criminal record that would permanently mar her otherwise pristine reputation. Her carefully constructed life, based on a foundation of privilege and entitlement, was shattered. The once pristine image was tarnished, replaced by a stark reminder that actions have consequences, and sometimes, The price of arrogance is steeper than one might imagine. Life at the coffee shop returned to normal, the incident becoming nothing more than a whispered anecdote among the staff. Leo, despite the ordeal, was commended for his calm demeanor and professionalism. The coffee shop continued brewing its lattes, oblivious to the tempest that once raged within its walls, while Brenda faced the full weight of her actions, a harsh lesson learned in the bitterest of ways. The slap backfired spectacularly. Karma had served her right,